Hello friends, I am Dr. P. K. Paul. Welcome to my channel. Let's think differently and change our lives. So, friends, today I read the book, What Your Doctor Doesn't Know About Nutritional Medicine May Be Killing You. Before to begin today's video, I inform you that the link of others chapter of this book is given at description. You may watch this. So, let's go to start. 10. Autoimmune diseases. Being the youngest of 6 children, Mark had to be tough just to keep up with the others. He was a healthy little guy who loved anything that had to do with playing ball and a good bit of competition. He was involved in several sports, but soccer was his all-time favorite. One day when Mark was 12 years old, he was aggressively running the ball in soccer practice when he started cramping up. Soon he was doubled over with severe stomach pains. The cramps continued to mount over the next few days with both diarrhea and vomiting. When Mark didn't respond to any over-the-counter medications, his parents finally took him to the emergency room where he was diagnosed with appendicitis. After a brief surgery and recovery, Mark was released from the hospital. He wasn't home for long. He returned to the hospital within 24 hours due to increasing abdominal pain, bloody diarrhea, and vomiting. Mark was now much sicker than he was before the operation. The young boy was readmitted to the hospital. However, the local doctors were puzzled. They referred Mark to the pediatric gastroenterology department at Loma Linda University Medical Center. Their doctors placed him immediately in the pediatric intensive care unit. They performed a colonoscopy the next day and took several biopsies of his small bowel and colon. What his parents saw during the procedure on the video display made them stare in disbelief. Later they described to me how the entire lining of Mark's bowel looked like a cobblestone street. The Loma Linda physicians diagnosed Mark as having an autoimmune disorder called Crohn's disease, as well as a secondary bacterial infection called C. difficile. Mark weighs in a skid. His PHYSD discomfort, as you might imagine, a pretty rough haul for as antibio physicians immediately prescribed 200 mg of prednisone as a debate-big narcotic pain medication of prednisone, and a daily debate began as to whether they should remove a large over the next few weeks. But they opted to wait and watch Mark's progress. Mark slowly improved, and a repeat colonoscopy showed that the infection had cleared. This made the typical ulcerative appearance of the infection all the more evident. The doctors met with the parents and wooed them that this was an incurable autoimmune disease. They explained for some reason, Mark's immune system had started to attack his own bowels, which created tremendous inflammation and destruction. The team of physicians wanted to place Mark on a chemotherapeutic drug called Imuran, even though he was still taking very high doses of prednisone and narcotic pain medication. Mark started on Imuran, and after a total of 6 weeks of hospitalization, the boy was delighted to be discharged. Again, his home stay was a brief one. And within a week Mark was in so much abdominal pain he had to be readmitted to the hospital. Physicians generally treat patients with autoimmune diseases with drugs that suppress the immune system. Since the body's own immune system is attacking it, it is logical to aggressively quell its activity. But one of the major side effects of these potent drugs is that they wipe out the natural antioxidant defense too. Mark's Crohn's disease was finally coming under control, but his depressed immune system left him vulnerable to all kinds of infections. A cold would turn into a serious pneumonia, and the common flu would put him down for weeks. In fact, during the first year after his initial attack on the soccer field, Mark had to be admitted 7 times as a result of serious infections. It was about this time that I became involved with the young boy. Mark's father approached me for my medical advice following a meeting I was speaking at in San Diego and asked what I would recommend. I told him that I'd put Mark on a potent antioxidant and mineral tablet along with high doses of grape seed extract and CoQ10. I also encouraged his parents to be sure he was getting adequate amounts of the essential fatty acids in his diet or to supplement with a flaxseed oil or fish oil. All of these would re-stimulate Mark's natural antioxidant defense system. Mark slowly began to improve but still struggled with abdominal pain and side effects from the drugs. Gradually his doctors took him off prednisone but not the Imuran. Mark's mom and dad consulted me again, and I recommended that they seek a second opinion from her after seeing how well Mark was private pediatric gastroenterologist side. The private gastroenterologist felt that it would be well worth trying to get Mark off of all drugs, including the pain medication and Imuran. He was gradually taken off the Imuran, and with the help of a psychologist who taught Merrick some relaxation techniques, he was finally able to stop taking all pain medication as well. At last Mark was medication-free and felt better than he had since that day of his first attack. Mark is now doing great and eating a normal diet. I was delighted to see the active 15-year-old again recently. What a frightening and painful experience he and his parents endured. A disease that for many offers little hope is manageable for Mark. He is now pain-free without having even a flare-up of his Crohn's for more than 2.5 years. Needless to say, we are all optimistic about Mark's future. The lingering question is, how could Mark's immune system turn on him like that? Isn't our immune system supposed to help us? Let's start by looking at how our immune system should work. The immune system, our great protector. Our immune system guards us against viruses, bacteria, fungi, foreign proteins, and abnormal cancer cells. It is a sophisticated interplay of many different kinds of immune cells. Even though the scope of this book does not allow me to go into much detail about the intricate workings of the immune system, I still believe it is important for you to know who the basic players are. Here is a brief job description of each. The different players in our immune system. Macrophages, or phagocytes, are the Pac-Man-like white cells that are the first line of defense. They can quickly attack any foreign invader, virus, bacteria, and actually gobble it up. But sometimes macrophages are not sure if they have attached themselves to a foreign invader or not. They definitely do not want to destroy something that is part of the body, as in Mark's case. This is when they call for help from the T helper cells. SIR cells are from a group of white cells called the lymphocytes. A T helper conference comes along and attaches itself to the macrophage and tries to below determine if the particle the macrophages had in its gram is friend or foe. If the helper cell determines that it in an enemy, it will more send hormones called cytokines. They emulate the inflammatory reaction, which thoroughly signals the immune system to kick itself into high gear. This stimulates the B cells into action and attracts more macrophages and one helper cells to come to the respawn. 8 calls have the ability to shoot down the intruder with enzymes that destroy it by creating oxidative stress. Some of the B cells will return to the lymph nodes mousate antibodies against these intruders. If this intruder ever shows up again, our immune system is ready for it because of these antibodies. Natural killer cells can destroy anything in their path. They flood infected cells with toxins and destructive enzymes, which effectively destroys all foreign invaders or cells that are growing abnormally, such as cancer cells. T suppressor cells are the riot police that come along after the foreign invader has been destroyed and tries to calm down this tremendous immune response. They are critical for the control of collateral damage. If this highly reactive response goes unchecked, tremendous damage to the surrounding normal tissue could occur. This is what makes the inflammatory response so dangerous. Though it is absolutely necessary to control potential infectious intruders, if the inflammatory response gets out of control, it can cause great harm. You have already learned that nutritional supplements can significantly enhance the body's natural antioxidant defense. In this chapter you will also begin to realize that these same nutritional supplements can significantly enhance our body's own immune system. Dr. Karl-Heinz Schmidt stated, "The optimal function of the host defense system depends upon an adequate supply of antioxidant micronutrients." It only makes common sense that if our immune system is going to be able to protect us as God intended, we need to have all the nutrients present at optimal levels. Nutrients and our immune system. Again, let's examine the medical literature and see how each of these individual nutrients actually affects our immune response. Vitamin E. Macrophages that are deficient in vitamin P3 do not live as long. Our immune system uses this predictees of free D do not live as foreign invaders try acts as it the good side of oxidative stress as long as it remains under criterios defectly also affects the differentiation of 1 to colon the thymus. This leads to an imbalance of T helper to T suppressor cells. The pre-production of T suppressor cells is one of the main reasons that the inflammatory response can get out of hand. Remember that the T suppressor cell are the riot police that are essential to cooling the immune reaction and limit collateral damage. Some researchers believe that poor T suppressor cell function is at the heart of the autoimmune response. Studies show that supplementation with vitamin E corrects these deficiencies in our immune system and helps clear infections. Clinical studies have also demonstrated that the immune-enhancing effect of vitamin E supplementation was even greater in the elderly and in individuals who had malabsorption syndromes. Mark's disease, for instance, involved both the small bowel and colon, which essentially created a malabsorption of these nutrients. Vitamin E supplementation can also protect against the immunosuppressive effects of cortisol, which is released in great quantities during a stress reaction. Carotenoids. A well-known property of the carotenoids is the fact that they are capable of protecting the surrounding normal tissue from potential damage created by the inflammatory response of the immune system. Supplementation of the carotenoids can increase the number and effectiveness of the T helper cells and the natural killer cells, which, as you have already learned, constitutes an important part of our defense system against cancer cells. This greatly improves the tumor surveillance of our immune system. Vitamin C. Dr. Linus Pauling has been influential in making everyone aware of the importance of supplemental vitamin C and its ability to enhance the immune system. Although we are still arguing whether massive doses of vitamin C are helpful for the common cold, the enhancing effects on the immune system are fairly well established. Vitamin C has been shown to improve the function of the macrophages, thus significantly improves the first line of defense against bacterial infections. Wiser to take good doses of vitamin C daily rather than massive doses. When 1 gram of vitamin C ing down with an infection, massive doses taking 1 gram of vitamin C daily for more than 2 months show one study enhancement of NL aspects of the immune system. Vitamin C also has the ability to gut off vitamin E and handle the excessive free radical in the plasma. Both of these properties further enhance vitamin D to improve the immune system. Glutathione. Supplementation with the precursors of glutathione, N-acetyl L-cysteine, selenium, niacin, and vitamin B2, have shown significant enhancement to the overall immune system. Even patients with HIV infections have experienced this positive effect. Coenzyme Q10. As we age, CoQ10 levels decline and make the mitochondria, the furnace of the cell, especially vulnerable to oxidative damage. CoQ10 is critical for the optimal function of the immune system because of its major role in the production of energy in the cells of the immune system. Supplementation of CoQ10 has been shown to reverse these problems and significantly enhance the immune system. Zinc. Just about every aspect of our immune system needs zinc. A deficiency ally suppresses several parts of the immune system. The number of lymphocytes decreases, the function of many white cells is severely reduced, and levels of thymic hormone, which is a strong stimulus of the immune system, fall. Many people reach for their zinc lozenges whenever they get a cold. Studies have shown that taking these lozenges every 2 hours can shorten the length of a cold by several days. Researchers believe that zinc not only boosts the immune system but also inhibits the replication of the virus. But a word of caution is necessary here. If a person consumes a high dose of zinc for too long, it can actually suppress the immune system. I am not against short-term use of high doses of zinc or even vitamin C with colds, but I believe consistent long-term use of optimal doses of these nutrients in supplementation is better for the antioxidant defense system and the immune system. When all of the players of our immune system are functioning at their peak capacity, our overall health is obviously the beneficiary. Children are able to optimize their immune system via nutritional supplementation within 6 months. Aging is generally associated with an impairment of our immune responses, which leads to increased frequency and severity of infections. In fact, infections, especially of the respiratory tract, are the 4th most common cause of death in the elderly. The British Lancet recently reported a study in which elderly patients received either optimal levels of nutritional supplements or a placebo. Those patients who received the nutritional supplements had significant improvements of their overall immune response and enjoyed fewer and less severe infections compared to those who received the placebo. It took at least a year of supplementation to optimize their immune systems, but in the end the benefits were dramatic. This study, along with several others, confirms the fact that our immune system is extremely dependent on these micronutrients, as is our antioxidant defense system. The inflammatory response. You have seen throughout this book that inflammation is a serious foe. You understand that heart disease is really an inflammatory disease and not a disease of cholesterol. Mark's devastating problems were all the results of inflammation of the bowel. In chapter 11 you will read that millions of us are developing arthritis because of increased inflammation in our joints. And the underlying cause of asthma is essentially inflammation. Simply put, most of us just have too much inflammation in our bodies. We need to bring this excessive inflammation back into balance, and nutritional supplements are the key. The inflammatory response is the result of a complicated chain of events involving the immune response, which releases tremendous amounts of free radicals, caustic enzymes, and inflammatory cytokines. We have looked at the basic immune response, but we now need to look at how to handle the prolonged inflammatory, chronic inflammation response that these cytokines create. Antioxidant supplements are our best tool. They improve our immune system, they help control the inflammatory response, and they build up our antioxidant defense, which in turn protects our normal cells from inflammation's destruction. There is another important aspect of this inflammatory response we need to look into: our body's natural anti-inflammatory system. That's right. Has it ever crossed your mind as you reach for the bottle of Advil that your body packs its own anti-inflammatory products? Let's take a look at what those products are. Essential fatty acids. Not all fats are bad. In fact, an essential fat is just that essential to the body. The body cannot manufacture these fats and therefore must get them from food. The body uses fats for the production of healthy cell membranes as well as certain hormones called prostaglandins. The two most important essential fatty acids are omega-3 fatty acids, called alpha-linoleic acid, and omega-6 fatty acids, called just linoleic acid. Our bodies turn omega-3 fatty acids into prostaglandins that are primarily anti-inflammatories. Omega-6 fatty acids become prostaglandins that are primarily inflammatories. The generally accepted optimal ratio of dietary intake of omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3 fatty acids is 4:1. This means we should take in 4 times as much of omega-6 as we do omega-3. Omega-6 fatty acids are abundant in the Western diet. They are in our meats, dairy products, and processed foods. We get omega-3 fatty acids from vegetable oils such as flaxseed, canola, pumpkin, and soybean oil. These fats are also found in such cold water fish as mackerel, sardines, salmon, and tuna. As you might guess, the average American consumes a few more omega-6 fatty acids than omega-3s, a lot more, in fact. On average we consume a ratio of 20:1 or even 40:1 of these fats in our diet. This results in our bodies producing significantly more inflammatory products than anti-inflammatory products. Our bodies are simply too inflamed. The imbalance in the consumption of these essential fatty acids is the main reason for the imbalance in our body's production of these hormones. That is why many individuals in the industrialized world need to take flaxseed oil and fish oil in supplementation in an attempt to bring these back into balance. Here is another unknown fact. Essential fats also have the ability to act to decrease our total cholesterol levels and our LDL, bad cholesterol levels. This means that not all fats are created equal. I not only encourage my patients to supplement the omega-2 efforts the partake of saturated fat. When you combine these two efforts, the inflammation in the body readily comes back under control and your cholesterol improve. Previous studies have shown significant clinical relevance in patients with rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, heart disease, multiple sclerosis, and almost any disease that involves inflammation when they consume important essential fats in supplementation. Your health important aspect of maintaining your health or redeeming your health if you have already lost it. We have looked at various aspects of our immune system and how it is supposed to work. We have also looked at the problem when this normal inflammatory response gets carried away. But now we need to look at the very worst scenario: what happens when our immune system mounts a mutiny and actually starts to attack our own body. Autoimmune diseases. You've heard the saying, one's greatest strength is also his greatest weakness. This is no truer than in the immune system. Many clinicians believe that every disease is essentially the result of a breakdown of our immune system. But in the bizarre case of autoimmune disease, the immune system actually becomes the body's worst enemy itself by attacking normal cells and tissue. If it attacks the joint space, we call it rheumatoid arthritis. If it attacks our bowels, we call it Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. If it attacks the myelin sheath of our nerves, we call it multiple sclerosis. And when it attacks the connective tissue of our body, we call it lupus or scleroderma. Why and how does this happen? I learned in medical school that autoimmune diseases were the result of an overactive immune system that begins attacking self instead of non-self. But it made more sense to me that in the case of autoimmune disease, the immune system, rather than being overactive, had instead become confused and was now attacking the body rather than foreign invaders as it was designed to do. In a recent review article on autoimmune diseases reported in the New England Journal of Medicine, the authors pointed out that no one really knows for certain why the immune system literally turns on self. But many researchers not only believe that oxidative stress is the underlying cause of autoimmune disease, but that it also could immune system to actually attack us, be the culprit that causes a Merrill studies have documented the fact that the root cause of autoimmune diseases is oxidative stress. As you may anticipate, the antioxidant level decreased l'arthritis, L significantly decreased. Low antioxidant levels have also Scleroderma brevis once risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis or lupus shown to indicators of oxidative stress are also very high in these patients, especially during a flare-up period of these diseases. Antioxidant supplementation would therefore be ideal for patients with these autoimmune diseases. Not only can antioxidant supplements optimize the natural antioxidant defense system, but they also can enhance our immune system and help control the inflammatory response. In other words, they can help bring oxidative stress back under control and circumvent this entire vicious cycle. Matt's story. Matt is a successful lawyer in the Chicago area, which basically means he has worked long, hard hours to build his practice while working equally hard to balance his priorities of wife and family. His health had always been good, so he never thought much about it until the fall of 1996. Matt was attending a wedding when he began to feel some significant abdominal discomfort. He had been extremely busy the 2 weeks prior to the wedding, so he thought he might be coming down with a flu bug. A day or so later, he felt like he'd been hit by a Mack truck. As he put it, he was so fatigued with body aches. When his symptoms worsened, Matt decided to go to the doctor. By this point he was experiencing waves of severe abdominal pain. Desperate for relief, he asked the doctor to take out whatever was causing the pain. He underwent all kinds of tests, including CT scans, ultrasounds, X-rays, and numerous blood tests. So you can imagine Matt's shock when no diagnosis became apparent. He was sent home with only a painkiller. Matt had recently been reading about nutritional supplementation and decided to start an aggressive supplement program. But he did not improve very much. He still felt miserable. He felt achy all over, and he remained extremely fatigued. He finally saw a specialist who ordered a blood test called normal is 140 or less. His specialist told him that he had systemic lupus erythematosus, or what most people simply refer to as lupus. ANA was an indicator of an autoimmune process gone amok. He bought the ANA system was actually and started taking 350 milligrams of his bodies in his supplements even more and minerals song of grape seed extract along with his antioxidants and minerals. He slowly improved and required less and less pain medication, even though he still had intermittent bouts of pain. The process was long and hard as Matt continued to fight fatigue and the flu-like symptoms. By January Matt was feeling much better and was able to make up for lost time by getting back to working 10-hour days. He was thrilled because he had not been able to work at all for about 4 months. Being able to support his family financially was something Matt was not sure would ever be possible again. When he went back for a follow-up visit several months later, his specialist wanted to start him on some chemotherapeutic drugs, a standard treatment for lupus. Needless to say, Matt insisted that he felt great and was not having any problems. When his specialist looked at his repeat ANA report, his jaw dropped. He couldn't believe it. "Matt, your ANA has crashed," he exclaimed. It's now only 1:40 and is basically normal. He congratulated Matt and encouraged him to just keep taking whatever medication his doctor had put him on. When Matt informed him that he wasn't taking any medication, the specialist replied, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up." Matt continues to do well. He's not been sick for more than 5 years now and his ANA tests remain negative. In fact, he claims that he feels better now than he felt before he contracted lupus. Though he realizes it's not true, Matt doesn't feel like he has lupus anymore. Its symptoms may return, and they might not. No one can say for sure. But one thing is certain, Matt will never take his health for granted again. The important aspect in Matt's story was the fact that he started this aggressive nutritional supplement program early in the course of his disease. I have presented a number of clinical stories in which patients were actually able to redeem their health after their disease had progressed fairly significantly. I hope that more and more people will start to supplement their diet before they even get sick, and then become more aggressive with optimism as soon as they realize they have a major illness. A supplement program can't hurt, it can only help. For detailed information on starting supplementation, see Chapter 17.